When making foods from far off lands, perhaps no ingredient is as important as curiosity. Cooking and eating foods from places we've never seen is as good a way as any, and better than most, to expand your horizons, to remember that the world is the big, beautiful place of endless magic and surprise. Let curiosity lead you to new books and magazines, websites and restaurants, cooking classes, and of course, cities, countries, and continents. So I've decided, rather than being in this tiny kitchen the whole time, I'm going to travel and go and taste foods from all over the world, not just Africa, to inspire me what I'm trying to do in my tiny Nigerian kitchen. Let's do this. So I've arrived in Ukraine, Lviv. I'm here to eat some good broth. So I touched down in Ukraine just about 48 hours ago. Spent the first day hanging out in Lviv, eating and drinking. And then yesterday evening came up to the mountains. So this morning I thought I'll go and take a little walk, check out the scenery. Now, not being much of a cold weather person, the only shoes I've actually brought with me are these Converse All-Stars. Just feel good. I think I'm good to go. Got my Canada mittens, leather jacket. Let's go check out outside. I must say it's a beautiful historic city, complete, with the old buildings and the cobbled streets and doorways. They look like they've been around for 100 years, but it does feel very much like modern Lviv has been built for the Instagram age, complete with cool looking cafes, with Instagrammable people and their dogs and food. Thankfully, the food not only looks good, but tastes really good. But I came to Ukraine mainly to try one dish, and that is borscht, which is basically a sour soup made with beets, carrots, cabbage, potatoes, meat, and a meat stock. And I was pleasantly surprised that the very first thing I had once I touched down and arrived at my friend Natalia's was indeed borscht, which she'd made and I hadn't even requested. And it was delicious. That was, of course, served with Salo, which I've learned is a national dish in Ukraine. It's basically cured pork fat and vodka. Now, I did some research before I came and I heard about an African store in Lviv. Yes, a store that sells African food products. I couldn't believe it. So I had to go and visit. Alas, I arrived and the place was shut. I couldn't believe it. Gutted. Missed out. So, if I ever come again to Lviv, that will be on the list for me to go and see what they are selling inside. Now, if the daytime is for being leisurely, strolling around the city, just taking everything in with your eyes, stopping at the numerous trendy cafes and sipping coffee, then nighttime is certainly when the party starts in Lviv. I was blowing trumpets. Woo! Drinking yet more alcohol.
Yeah, we can do that.
Dancing on street corners with the youth of Lviv. Yes, she was dressed like a giraffe. Next, my friends took me to an underground restaurant. The place is called Kryivka, and it was great. It was a themed restaurant, but again, the food was really good. It was essentially local Ukrainian fare. Once you get in, and that's not easy because you have to say the password in Ukrainian. No, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell you all. So I'll say it in my native tongue, which is Yoruba. To get in, you basically need to say Ogosi Ukrainia or Ukraine, something like that. So anyway, once you're admitted in, you go in, you find your seats in the dark. It's pretty dark in there. And yet again, I had borscht, and we had other fare like grilled meats and vegetables, half a meter long sausage, And then this strange chicken dish, which is essentially, I think, chicken in gelatine. I can only assume, similar to a stock, it would have been chicken and maybe bones cooked up and then left to set. So you're left with this kind of gelatin and chicken. Can't say it was my favorite, but it was interesting again to see what you can do by boiling up meat and bones together. So now in the mountains, I am looking forward to trying a lot more local food and seeing how it compares to food from the trendy Lviv city cafe capital of the world. So I'm back from the walk, got my coffee ready, and I bought these things yesterday. Now, those of you who are Nigerian or have had Nigerian food and ever heard of something called puff puff will recognize these things. I mean, look at that. That's exactly like Nigerian puff puff. And even look at the bag I bought them in. It's just completely oil soaked, which is exactly what puff puff would be like. But this is Ukrainian. Essentially, it's like a fried dough ball. Oh, wow. And this one is sweet. And inside, they've got cheese in it. But honestly, that tastes exactly like a sweet, cheesy puff puff. Okay, it's freezing. I'm getting back inside. So, we're stopping halfway down the mountain. Okay. The only exists.
It's not Ukrainian.
This is really good. Just simple, barbecued, with some bread and ketchup. Exactly what you need. On a very cold, a sunshiny day on the slopes. Okay, I have no idea what I'm about to drink. I hope I can make it back down the mountain after this day.
Unlucky, say Kryivka.
Okay, so warm wine with Kryivka.
Kryivka. Slava Ukraini.
Slava Ukraina. Okay, this is certainly warming up inside. Whew. One is not enough. I'm gonna have to try a shot of whatever this is. Okay. Okay. Very good. Very good. I think I had the whole thing of that. It was like a cinnamon hot wine, and then 3 shots of the honey vodka thing, I think. It certainly warmed me up inside. I'm not sure if it was the best thing for trying to get down the hill. All the lifts are closed now, so the only way down now is definitely on the boards. Bye, John. New friend down there. I think he's a Jehovah's Witness. A very friendly guy. So, time to go on. After a hard day snowboarding on the slopes, a nice, hearty, warm bowl of borscht is to be called for. This is probably like the 5th bowl I'm having since arriving in Ukraine. Okay, so let's dig in. Oh wow, this is actually really good. Okay, so I don't know if venison is traditional Ukrainian. We're up in the mountains, so it seems to make sense. So I've got this venison and cherries. It looks like maybe it's just been boiled. Venison definitely has its own distinct flavour. Out of everything I'm having so far this evening, I have to say this is my least favourite because the meat tastes, well, not fried, so you don't have all that kind of crispy brownness on the outside. I think with some French fries. Okay, we're coming towards the end of the trip. Time to pack and check out the hotel. Oh, hey there. So it seems the thing to do when you're in Ukraine, if you're not having shots of vodka, is to stand outside admiring the view of the mountains while having coffee. It just gives me a good excuse to do the very end of the video. So this is it, the end of the trip in Ukraine. Bags are packed. In a few hours I'll be on that plane. I've spent time in the city of Lviv, where I've been really impressed actually by the creativity of the food scene and what's going on in a lot of the restaurants out there. And then I've also spent some time up in the mountains in a small town called Slavsko, and I've been able to try a lot more of the traditional foods. Now, what have I learned since I've been here, apart from the fact that Ukrainians drink an awful lot of vodka? Well, I'll say two main things. The first is that when it comes to the eating of the whole animal, which is something actually I'm quite interested in, a lot of it has got to do with mind over matter, really, and partly what you've grown up eating and you're used to. So I've been able to have Salo, which is a Ukrainian national dish. It's certainly not something I would have been used to eating in West Africa when I was growing up. But you know what, I have to say, my time being here, eating Salo, down in vodka, I'm actually quite acquiring a taste for it, which is more than I can say for pork tongue, which I tried a few nights ago. The second thing that I've learned is that it matters how you treat your meat. Boiling it maybe with some bones and making good use of the broth that ensues can really elevate a dish, as I've found out with the case of Borscht, which I've had numerous times since I've been here. Just that deliciousness of the chunks of meat, but then the vegetables also cooked in the broth of the meat. It's just been utterly delicious, especially then just adding that little bit of sour cream, which again brings in some of that extra sourness, but extra fat. Delicious. So I'll be seeing how I can use some of this knowledge when I get back into my tiny kitchen in Hong Kong. Even despite the sun, it's actually pretty cold here. So I think it's time to get back inside. I've got a few more hours before I have to get to the airport. So I'm going to curl up in front of the fire with a good book. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to press the subscribe button and like the video. Next week, I will be traveling to somewhere very different, but again, still to focus on soups and broth. See you next time. So I'm about to get my Ukrainian on. It's time to order some coffee. Hello, ocho cava latte.
Cava latte? Тут число. Да? Да?
Nigerian, man.
Hey!